Use hashtag Michigan to get your questions up now. We've gone over the recruiting class. We've gone over your questions in the recruiting class, and I've talked about my high-impact freshman for 2020. Now I want to talk about the Michigan football team in general. So let's start off with a question from Antonio for Life. If the D gets lit up, and I capitalized that actually, he didn't have it capitalized, but I just wanted to say lit up like they did in that show Suits. Again, do you believe Don Brown's job will be in trouble? I actually do. Don Brown and Jim Harbaugh are saying all kinds of nice things about each other at the Shemmy Awards a couple days ago. Don Brown's out there recruiting, which is, by the way, a really stupid name, I agree, for an award trophy. I get Bo Schembechler, but let's not win the offseason, guys. But if they give up 50 points to Alabama, how can you justify him? That's going to be basically every strong offense Don Brown will have faced over a 2-year stretch has ended up in a loss. Notre Dame, Ohio State, Florida, then, of course, Penn State, Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Alabama this year. There'll be 4 losses over 2 seasons where I think for the majority of it, outside of, I guess, Wisconsin, I'm not sure what you're going to do there, but 35 points in the first half for Wisconsin. Ohio State, another 56 burger, averaging 59 points. If Alabama drops 45, 50 points on Don Brown, I think he will not return as Michigan's defense coordinator next year. Question coming in from Corey Novak at Novak_C30 on Instagram. If Michigan beats Bama, would this change people's perception of the season and Harbaugh? Let's take a quick poll from the audience. Harrison Graham, would it change your perception? No? No? Mitch, would it change your... Mitch doesn't know. He doesn't know. Jimmy? No, we got some no's. I think this is groupthink over here, but it would change my perception. It would change my perception that there's some apathy that goes into the program once the Ohio State game's over, like it has for, I think, the last 3 years when you've... Really, there's no reason Jim Harbaugh shouldn't be 4-0 in bowl games. They've never gone up against a team that is better than them. I'm pretty sure Michigan's been favored by double digits, or at least one score, 7 or more, in every bowl game they've been in. So to be 1-3 in bowl games, I think is unacceptable. I think it'd be perception-wise if Alabama is near full strength. I think it would get the offseason would be a lot more fun than doing these shows where we're just doing Jim Harbaugh, hot seat, Don Brown firing, all this different stuff, and which guys are going to leave the program. So it would change it for me. From the outside perspective, non-Michigan fans in the studio audience, they all said no. Question coming in from Ryan Mole. Reminds me of Austin Powers. Mole. What are the possible coaching changes, if any, that could take place, and where are we in terms of how we prepare for OSU, how seriously we take the game? Culture change and OSU awareness. I think Jim Harbaugh, in his heart of hearts, believes that Michigan is preparing for Ohio State to win the game. But the results clearly have not proven out that way. 2015 was a mismatch, but 16 and 17, Michigan was right there. It was all about execution. Michigan didn't execute. Maybe they got a couple bad calls from the ref. But the last 2 years, when some might say the talent level is as close as it's been in a long time, perception-wise, Michigan's coming in the game both years. Last year in the top 4, this year around the top 10, is that Ohio State, it mattered more to Ohio State. Ohio State's coaches had a better game plan, and Michigan didn't recruit or address recruiting to counteract what Ohio State was going to throw at him. So the fact that Don Brown got 62 dropped on him last year, and oh, by the way, I was there standing right with the Ohio State offense. Urban Meyer went soft. He could have easily scored 7 and then went for 2 and dropped 70 on Michigan. Heard recently he was considering it. They had an offensive lineman who was injured in that drive, so they just downed it. So a culture needs to change. If I were a recruit and I didn't walk into Michigan's athletic facility, Schembechler Hall, and see beat Ohio State all over the place and just focus on it, I would be like, oh, I'm not going to come here and lose 4 games in a row to my rival. I'm going to go to a different school. So I think it's to be seen. It starts with the bowl game. Is Michigan going to show up and win a game, or is Jim Harbaugh going to drop to 1-4? You see that? I think I'm going to make hats. Beat Ohio State again. I'm going to make those hats. Bright red hats. I'm going to send them to Michigan. Make the players wear them. Beat Ohio State again. That's going to be my hat for the Michigan football program. I'm mailing them to you guys. Might get an NCAA violation. Doesn't really matter. Preston Prosper coming in. Hashtag can. I like that. Good use of the hashtags, Preston. Can Dylan throw the football, and has he shown enough passing the ball? He can throw the football. He's had some really nice throws downfield in limited action, but he's not been able to do 2 things. One, not his fault, but hasn't got enough snaps because Michigan just hasn't been as well established on offense as they needed to be to get their backups more playing time in the second half of games. It's only been maybe 2-3 games this year, a couple games last year that he was able to get adequate playing time. And he gets hurt. He's been hurt for almost as many games he's appeared in as a Michigan football player. He's been hurt like 9 games, has appeared in 10 or 11 games. So that's a big concern. Every time he's got playing time against Wisconsin, he gets hurt, right? So I want to ask you guys this question. Who will start for Michigan at quarterback? Game 1, on the road, Washington. Type 10 for McCaffrey. Let's get some 10s or some 5s in the comment. I'm going to go see what you guys think here in the comment section. 10 or 5, 10 for McCaffrey, 5 for Joe Milton. And I told you a couple days ago, I don't think if he loses the job or not, I think Milton's going to stick around for 2020, see what his options are at Michigan because he's on pace to graduate after the 2020 season, could grad transfer and still have 2 years to start. So I really wouldn't buy him anything if he loses the job in the spring or fall to transfer and just have to sit out somewhere else. He could play at Michigan and still have 2 years somewhere else by way of graduating and going on, much like Jalen Hurts did, Alabama to Oklahoma. But the betting odds, the over-under is going up. Was 54, then 56, now it's 59. But the spread has not changed. Alabama's only a 7.5-point favorite. Surprising to me, maybe the sportsbooks know something that we don't. But as I look at the matchup, Michigan has an advantage at the quarterback position, has been playing better on offense. Alabama down a player in the secondary, an all-American level cornerback. Maybe this is the right play, but what that screams to me is that they think Alabama will win, 34-27, somewhere around that range. If you want to bet on the game, I told, who was that, you, Dylan, the $100,000 loan we did? Took out a line of equity credit at my dad's house. I'm not putting on my assets. Already put it on Alabama at -7.5. So, Dad, if you're watching this, just don't worry about that letter in the mail from the bank about the equity line of credit. I had to put it down in Alabama because I don't think that Michigan can stay within 7.5 points, but I want to be proven wrong. If you want to bet on this game, whether for Michigan or for Alabama, do it with BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code GoBlue. When you deposit money, you get a big bonus. Don't just sign up for some site and get no bonus. Get the 120% deposit bonus with BetDSI. Question coming in from JT. JT asks, will Michigan ever be elite again? By the way, JT, there's a guy out there that's called JT on Twitter. He always asks if I'll unblock him because for some reason I blocked him, but I haven't done it yet. If that's you, make sure to comment on this video or DM me or something like that. I'll unblock you, but I haven't figured out if it's a legit guy or not. So I've blocked all the haters, all the losers, and I'm willing to let you in if you're an avid participant in the community. But the question stands. Will Michigan ever be elite again? Yes, because again means in perpetuity. I bet Michigan will win a national title in the history of their program. But in the next 5 years, I've said this recently, there's only 3 ways I see Michigan making the playoff, right? It's if Ryan Day gets hired by an NFL team and Ohio State botches the hire, right? So they get their Brady Hoke, they get their Rich Rodriguez. If they were to get some sort of sanctions that crippled recruiting and they were really down on talent for a short stretch, or if J.J. McCarthy is the next Trevor Lawrence or Tua Tagovailoa, he comes in as a true freshman and is an absolute superstar, best player in college football for a 2 or 3 year stretch. That's how Michigan gets elite. If not, I don't think they can win that game against Ohio State, and as such, 10-2, 11-1 is your best regular season, and every other year going to a New Year's Six bowl, but certainly not the playoff. Chris Cook. What's going on with the 2 Stanford players who we are looking at? Their names are escaping me now, but I'll pull them up here in a second because we talked about them in our show the other day. I don't memorize every Stanford player, but there's 12 players from Stanford in the transfer portal right now. A couple of them defensive linemen. One is for sure going to be eligible to play next year. The other, and he was a starter. The other one is I'm uncertain on, but I can't imagine a player is going to transfer from Stanford to somewhere else if he's been there for multiple years, if he didn't get his degree, whether it's graduating 3 years or whatever it is. So I'm guessing if he's in the transfer portal, he'll be eligible next year. But there are a handful of defensive linemen. The 2 most likely, from what I've been told, what I've seen that Michigan's interested in, are 2 Stanford players, one who started 12 games on a, frankly, really bad Stanford team this year. But Michigan definitely cannot ignore the defensive line, the interior defensive line. Javon Swan, the stats and research department, is in my ear. Is that one of them, Dill? We got him in the video, the script from Saturday. If you pull it up, Javon Swan from Stanford is one of those players. We'll get that second name in a minute, but Michigan's gonna make a play at them. I think they got a good chance of getting at least one of them, but we'll see as things go on past the bowl game and into the spring semester. Wolverine Bullies. How many huge linemen are we getting? Well, we're getting quite a few offensive linemen, but this is not the class that I think Michigan's got the strength on the O-line. It was last year's class, right? We'll go out, kind of scroll through the recruiting class so you can see for yourself. But last year's class, the 2019 class, that brought in 6 offensive linemen, 5 or 4 of those 4 stars or higher, is the class that's going to make or break Michigan's offensive line in the future. Certainly Zach Zintner, not a huge guy. Jeffrey Percy at tackle is maybe the beef of the class. Then you've got the center, Reese Atterbury, as your 3rd offensive lineman in this class. So bringing in 3 on top of last year's 6, you've got 9 offensive linemen over a 2-year stretch. And that may not even be enough, honestly. You got also Michael Mazkua. I apologize about him. Don't want to forget you, Micah. So 4 offensive linemen in this class. I think 3 are Michigan level. Hopefully Micah proved me wrong there. So 10 over a 2-year class period. But that 2018 recruiting class that Jalen Mayfield is a part of, they're kind of, missing some bodies. The 2017 recruiting class already had a couple transfers. So Michigan will be definitely thin at the offensive line position in a couple of years, losing 3 this year off the offensive line to graduation, maybe a 4th if Cesar Ruiz were to go pro. So bringing in 4+ is a necessity for Michigan football, basically going forward from here on out. Michigan Football Report has daily videos. If you haven't watched before, if this is the first time you're watching daily videos, we've got rumors and news, and we've got live chats, and we take your questions on air. You might get an ad break here on YouTube. If you do, scroll down, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a video from the channel. Philip Johnston. Mitch, what do you say when a guy doesn't have a picture? Get a picture. Philip Johnston, get a picture. We want to know what you're looking like. True story. If you're better looking, you're more likely to get on screen. Mich Girl 96 is proof of that. When was Michigan ever elite? It's been 20 years. Now, you're right in the fact that Michigan's never been a team to win 3 in the modern era, 3 national titles in a decade, or back-to-back national titles, or anything like that. But I think Michigan was certainly elite for a 40-year stretch from 1969, 1970 through 2007. You had 2 seasons in there with 5 losses or more, right? 1984, 2005, okay? 1984, Jim Harbaugh gets hurt in the 3rd game. They start a redshirt freshman quarterback. Michigan goes 6-6. 2005, you lose 4 of your 5 games by 1 score or less. Nevertheless, that's what it is. So I think they're the most consistent program, and certainly never had down years, maybe had the longest bowl streak, all that kind of stuff. So no, Michigan in the modern football era has never been the most elite team or even a top 3 program. But I think you can honestly say over the last 50 years, Michigan has always been considered a top 10 program. Is that elite? Maybe not. I don't think they're going to get there under Jim Harbaugh, honestly, as far as winning back-to-back national titles like I thought they would in the past. But I guess that's just what it is. And by the way, I've been on the record. If Michigan wants to pay recruits, you just tell me where it's said in the Bitcoin. I am getting down with it. Next question coming in from Mitchell Renz. Do you believe in Harbaugh? Is this like a believe in God kind of thing? I do believe that Harbaugh exists, yes. I will say yes. I believe he exists. I don't think he's a figment of our imagination. I certainly don't think Harbaugh is what's those things, a hologram like Tupac did at the music festival a couple years ago. So I do believe Harbaugh exists. I'm not a Harbaugh atheist. Thank you for the question, Mitchell Renz. Bo Stevens with another question. If handled properly, Milton's success could become a first-round pick and change the whole perception. I remember Alabama started to embrace wild cards at QB. Milton has it. You say that from Alabama's perspective. Let me give you a little perspective there. Alabama, I think, is on the brink of, they changed their program 2 years ago in the second half versus Georgia in the national title game. And it was awesome, right? Last year, they was one of the best teams in history until they got boat raced and crushed by Clemson. And no one really saw that coming, I don't think, outside of Clemson fans. But now they're in a position where they've changed their identity that's so reliant on quarterback that maybe Alabama could struggle next year. Zach Jones is Tua's little brother, is his true freshman coming in from California. What's that? What did I say, Matt? Zach Jones. I'm not giving the respect to say his real name, okay? Zach, you're not going to get any touchdowns against Michigan, but they become quarterback dependent, and that's fine if you are Ohio State or Alabama and everything you touch from the quarterback position turns to gold. But I think it's still yet to be seen whether or not Alabama's quarterback wizardry will continue past the Tua era in Alabama. So could Milton break the mold? I hope so, but I've thought plenty of Michigan quarterbacks are going to be superstars that haven't really come to fruition. Cameron McKinney, why is Michigan not recruiting five-star talent? Well, we talked about it earlier in the show, but I think the real reason is two things. Recruits don't remember Charles Woodson because they weren't alive when he won the Heisman, and they see Tom Brady as a guy old enough to be their father. So that doesn't really have nostalgia, and Michigan's big-time players in the pros are kind of dwindling off. Now, maybe Devin Bush, Chase Winovich, and some others may change that in the year. So not necessarily seeing the superstars in the pros from Michigan, and you have lost 8 straight to Ohio State. You've lost 3 straight bowl games. Jim Harbaugh kind of seems like a weird guy when you watch him talk. He's not excited. He's not happy, all this different stuff. So the perception from Michigan is it was a school my dad probably thought was sweeter than I do for a 17-year-old. And in a lot of ways, it's not much different than Nebraska. If you're a football player in New Jersey or Georgia, you're not growing up around the Michigan program every single day of the week. Got some sale items for you guys if you missed these early in the live show, or if you're watching this on demand, the Michigan football Nikes. I'm wearing them right now. I'm really not, but it'd be cooler if I did. $99.99, $30 off, chatsports.com/blue shoes. We've got hundreds of items, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, jerseys, shoes, socks, visors, if you're that kind of guy, on sale. Chatsports.com/blue. Get going now. Don't wait, because you still can choose an option to get it delivered by Christmas Eve, wrap it up, put it in a gift under the tree, and make someone's holiday season. Predict the score. Let's see the score predictions from you guys. Let's get it going in the comments section. Let's get it going on the live chat right now. I want to see what you guys have. I think I'm going to give my score prediction right now, all right? I think I'm going to give it right now. I'm going to think about it for a second. I'm going to give it. I'm going with a Michigan win. All right, Michigan win 38-28. 38-28 Michigan win. Shea Patterson probably should be coming back for a year and winning the Heisman, so I can win my money back that I bet on him for the Heisman the last 2 years. But I think Michigan's offense was clicking just enough, and if it was Tua at quarterback for Alabama, I would think they'd score 75 on Michigan. But with Zach Jones at quarterback and all that, I don't necessarily think they're going to have the offensive game plan to take advantage of a Don Brown offense that, quite frankly, if you've got better athletes, is easy to take advantage of. Ohio State has proved that back-to-back seasons. So what did I say? 38-28. Michigan's going to win the game. So go put your money down on that on BetDSI. Get that going. Buy some Michigan football gear for the season. 38-28 Michigan. We're going to keep the show looping, so stick with us. We got a recruiting class recap coming up right now.